He was the best man that I ever knew. He was born 1934, before cars, cell phones, in between two world wars. He graduated from the University of Baroda in 1961. He went back to India to marry Dadi on May 14th, 1964, got a master's degree from the University of Missouri in electrical and mechanical engineering. Even though Patik and I both know he could never fix anything. But he always knew someone that could. He had me in 1968, Patik the year after. America was in the middle of the Vietnam War. Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy were both assassinated. He just plowed ahead. He had a single focus, which was to give his kids a better life. Worked as an engineer and a salesman, but we all know he was a lot more than that. He was a travel agent. He would book flights for all his friends. He was a tax specialist. All his doctor friends came to him for advice. And he was an immigration lawyer. He would provide services for everybody in the community. Make sure everybody come to America. In fact, many of the families here in America today would not be here. The house was full, as far as I can remember, of relatives and friends. Palomi, Kiran, Falgu, Vaiday, Kartik, Daksamasi, Siddhartha, Matingyat. He was the guy you would call. If your telephone company overcharged you, he was the guy you would call if you missed your flight, and he'd get you booked on the next one. He was so personal, he could do anything. In truth, he was the first real lawyer. He was my hero. People loved him because he took an interest in people. He didn't read very much. In fact, the only book that I ever found around the house was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. But I know he never read it. He didn't need to. He lived it. He knew that by taking a genuine interest in other people, he could do anything. He would call someone over to paint the house, and by the end of the day, he'd know their name, he'd know if they're married, he knew where they went to college, he knew their best friends, and by the end of it, the painter would give him a discount because he was his new friend. And it was genuine. There was never any fake with him. He could relate to people instantly. I never met someone that could do that. He had a gift. He helped so many people. He would sponsor our cousins. He would let them live in our house. But he did more than that. He took a personal interest in them. He took interest in their education. He would sign them up for colleges. He would teach them how to drive. He would buy them cars. He would get them jobs at fast food restaurants. And he would help them establish their lives in America. Proof of his greatness is everybody sitting here on the boat today. Although he never made very much money, he put me through college. He paid for Patik's music school. He paid for my guitar school in LA. And he even paid for my law school. Neither Patik or I had any debt when we graduated. He would pay for our down payment. He would buy our first car. He would literally give you the shirt off of his back. He was that kind of guy. And he loved Dadi so much. Dadi was everything. They were married for 55 years, May 14th, 1964 to February 4th, 2019. They did everything together. They had so much respect, love, compassion for each other. It was the model of a marriage. They were eventually a team where you found one, find the other. Inseparable. He was persistent to the end. He came to America with nothing. He knew no one. He had no friends. He had no families. He had no associates. He had no job, but he came anyway, alone. He built a legacy and a generation. Even when they put him on life support at the hospital, he lived for 10 hours with no kidneys, no lungs, and barely a heart. He knew every nurse's name. He knew every doctor's name. He knew every respiratory therapist's name, many of whom came to his funeral. He is survived by her mom, his wife, his 2 sons, me and Petite, his 2 daughters-in-law, Laura and Mira, and his 5 grandkids, Arya, Kieran, Shaylee, Sean, and Chandler. He's also survived by his extended family and the human race. He had a saying that we all know, simple words. If it is to be, it is up to me. And on this trip, all that we've done, all that we've represented, will always be for him. I am here. We're all here because of him. And I love him so very much. I love you, Ken.